Okay, we're on Derech Hashem, part 3, chapter 1, number 4. And last week we were talking about the Neshama, the soul, the different parts of the soul. There's an upper soul and a lower soul, what we call upper Neshama, upper Nefesh, and a lower Nefesh in the Ramchal's categories. And now he's going to expand on that idea. And then he's going to, if we get to it, we'll see, talk about dreams. And are dreams a real manifestation of something on a higher spiritual level, or are they nonsense? Perhaps they're a combination of both. We shall see the significance of dreams in Jewish thought. But first we're going to talk more about the soul. Va'amnam, Dalet, if you have the Naaman edition, which again I highly recommend, we're on page 355. Va'amnam, Afal Pisha Karanua al Derech Klal Nefesh Achas, even though we call it one soul, Hine be'emes, Hi ba'alas chalakim rabim umadregos shonos. Really, the soul has many parts and many levels. Ukvar nuchal loymar shenafashos rabos hein shemiskashos zubezu ketabaos hashalsheles. Really, we could say that these souls, these many souls, are connected the way a chain is connected. Different rings in a chain. So you have chains, rings, connected. That's the way the soul, different parts of the soul connect to each other. So the higher part of the lower soul will connect with the lower part of the higher soul. And just like from all of these, the chain is built the way that is fitting for it. The upper soul is made with a combination of these souls. They're all connected. And the last one, the lowest level of the upper soul, is connected to the lower soul. And the lower soul is connected to the blood, as we mentioned in earlier. We said that the blood is where the soul, or some aspect of the lower soul connects to the body, is through the blood. Okay. Now, sometimes parts of the upper soul could actually leave a person. And then they could come back. Or different higher levels could be added to them. And then they'll go away. And none of this will have any impact on the body. So a person could have, at some point of his life, I think we talked about this when we learned about Gilgul, we learned about reincarnation, that a person could have many aspects, many additional higher levels of a soul during certain parts of his life, but he won't have it during the rest of his life. And they could go and they could come, and all of this does not have an impact on a person's body, on a person's senses, meaning you will not have a physical sensation that you have more souls, right? If you have 600 souls and I have 500 parts of a soul, you're not going to be more alive than me. We don't feel this on a physical level. The effect that these souls have is nothing that can be sensed by the body. It does not add any vitality to a person's life, does not add any more feeling. Rather, the purpose of these souls is it connects humans to their true source, Hashem. According to the way that they are connected. So he's saying your body, he says in the footnotes here that your body will not be able to sense if you got a soul or lost a soul. Okay. Now, this is a concept where we may be familiar with this. Most of us know there's such a thing called the Neshama Yisera on Shabbos. We get a Neshama, an extra Neshama on Shabbos. So it comes on Shabbos and it leaves after Shabbos. And we don't feel it, right? You don't feel the soul coming in Friday night, and you don't feel it leaving Saturday night. But we do have an extra soul on Shabbos. And it seems like that extra soul allows us to be, perhaps it's more connected, means we're more connected on Shabbos to the spiritual source, to Hashem. And that seems to allow us to perhaps have more a spiritual connection, and perhaps makes it easier for us to connect to spirituality and whatnot. But our physical senses are not going to feel that extra soul. Right, so he writes here, something we mentioned, the Ramchal and Maimer Chachma, that if someone has 600 parts of a soul, he's not going to be more alive than someone who has 20 parts of a soul. Okay, so now he summarizes, V'hinei klal chalkei haneshama, the parts of the upper soul, right? So first we had the lower soul, which was the nefesh. That was the soul that we share with animals, that our life force, our instincts. It's also said our intelligence and our imagination, things like that. And then there is the upper soul. Now he says the upper soul, called the Neshama, that is actually subdivided into more categories. And v'nikraim, and they're called Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chai, Yechida. Okay, those 5 aspects. Okay, hey, page 359. Va'amnam, yesh l'neshama halyona hazos mikrim miyuchadim ru'uyim la kfi inyana. These upper parts of the soul have certain purposes. Now, even though this soul is connected to the body, like we mentioned, right? We said we have all those chains and the rings of the upper soul connecting to the lower soul. Nevertheless, it still has what to do with the spiritual world. That the fact that it's tied to the body doesn't impact it. Right? You might think that the fact that the neshama, the higher level soul, is connected to the body, perhaps since it's kind of like suppressed by the body and physical, you might think that the upper level soul has no contact with the spiritual world, but that is not the case. So the neshama has what to do with the spiritual world, but the contact that the neshama has with the spiritual world is not something which is recognized by a person's intellect in his mind. Sometimes, though, it could be recognized a little bit, but usually not. This is what the rabbis say. He says that even though he didn't see it, his mazel saw it. Something came to his upper soul, and he didn't get a full image in his mind. He just got a little inspiration or a little bit of an awareness and not more. So what does this mean? This means that sometimes even the soul has interactions in the spiritual world, and those interactions most of the time are not felt by the intellect, right? We're not perceiving in our minds what the soul came in contact with. However, sometimes we can get a little bit of a glimpse of those interactions that our neshama had, that our upper soul had. And Rabbi Naaman says an example is that sometimes a person feels he has a sixth sense, he has an intuition about something. That could be, or someone's afraid of something and he can't put his finger on it. It could be that was from his a certain spiritual thing that his upper soul experienced. But he writes, of course, that you should not assume that every intuition you have is some spiritual connection that your soul had. It could be, it's really hard to know. But he says that's what he says it means when that even though he didn't see it, his mazel saw it, that his body was able to perceive on a limited level this supernatural, this spiritual connection that his soul had with the upper worlds. Okay.